Hi, and welcome to Keep It Real, the Dennis Aloia show, again called Keep It Real. I'm not Dennis Aloia, but we have real guests. My name's Jerry Farber. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you,
Debi Ellison.
Thank you. You too.
And to Ted Metz. I first met my first guest, Debi Ellison, at an event she had a few months ago. You remind me of the name of it.
The Southern Fried Laughter Conference.
Southern Fried Laughter Conference. That was more fun, and I've been in a business where we're supposed to have fun most of the time, either listening or performing, but that was fun because they were adults, there were no punchlines. It was better than punchlines. There were 60, 70 humans having fun in the best way, high-end silliness, and getting rid of the stiffness that humans have when they're acting and posing, and I really commend you for that.
Thank you.
And by the way, since I'm mentioning it, and we'll move on to Global Humanitarian Summit, what's the name of, when do you do that event again? The laughter.
March, the laughter event?
The laughter event.
It's going to be probably the last weekend in April of next year.
The compliment to that comes from my 15-year-old son, Joshua Farber, who went with me. And he said, God, look, older people really can have a lot of fun. You know, because they were older people. There were no other, there were a few kids there. Meanwhile, the main event, Debi Ellison, who's got a group called the Global Humanitarian Summit. It's an event, actually. It's going to take place in Atlanta, March the 18th through the 20th. You know, I believe this. If we don't have dreams, there's not much sense in living 80 or 90 years. The bigger, the better.
Right. That's right. I agree.
To dream bigger, and if you fall short, you still, that expression. Yours is about as big as any dream that I can imagine, which is to create humanitarianism in a really living, breathing way globally. And good luck.
Thank you.
Okay?
I need it.
and I want to help. I would love it for all the children yet to come and the adults among us, too, to try. But what is the concept, the essence? If you were a doctor talking about it, what is the dream?
The Global Humanitarian Summit is a gathering of humanitarians from all over the world. The whole goal is to inspire people to become humanitarians and to help humanitarians connect and network so that they can expand what they're doing in the world. So we want people to do good in the world, and that's what it's all about. At
grassroots, what is like a few examples of what a real somebody who thinks they're a humanitarian? What would that really be? Would it be a couple times a year they do a nice thing, or they?
No, I think it would be just having the mindset of helping people in any way you can every day. Just smiling at somebody is a humanitarian act.
Good. Okay, that's great. What I noticed, and I was hoping that's great. I cannot tell you how many people I meet who want where I live in Midtown. It's supposed to be a nice, liberal, fun place, which it mostly is, but how many people won't say hello?
Right.
You just say hello or smile. And in my case, I think it's because where I live are mostly younger people, and they look at me like I might be a freak or something, which would be true. That would be a reasonable assessment. And it bothers me. And sometimes I will say, I see him around the pool, and I said, I said twice to you, I'm really okay, I promise you, I'm totally benign. And they say, yeah, I'm really bad at it. These are 30, 40-year-olds, they're not really kids. Anyway, I think it starts there. Eye contact is really important.
Right.
And we'd look
Get off of your cell phone and talk to me. Look at me.
Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, I've heard good things about cell phones. I don't have one yet, but I've heard the best things about them. No, honestly, the worst thing happened to me, short of something tragic, is I lost my cell phone and totally freaked out. And it was the one thing I never wanted to do in my lifetime, thinking I'd get have an engagement with a phone that if I didn't see it for 30 minutes, I'd freak out. I did. And I found it.
Good.
And I felt this sense of relief that I would imagine drug addicts feel, unfortunately, for me. And you introduce Ted and tell him how you guys are connected in this event and your project, Ted Metz.
Yeah, this is Ted Metz. Ted has been instrumental in getting our website, the Global Humanitarian Summit, up and running, and he's put in
a couple hours,
hundreds of hours to getting the website up. So, yeah, he's been a great help with that and other things.
And you said something before I met him that you're going to meet the youngest-looking grandfather ever in the history of grandfathers.
Well, I hope that's true.
And I think it is, and good for you. So when you have this event, March 18th, 19th, and 20th, at the
Unity
It's at
North.
Unity North Atlanta Church in Marietta on Sandy Springs, and they Unity North has donated the entire church for the entire weekend. So I really appreciate that, Reverend Richard Burdick. Thank you, Richard.
and the speakers, some of the guests or people.
Yeah, our keynote speakers are Mrs. Naomi King, who is Martin Luther King Jr.'s sister-in-law. We have Thandeka Tutu, who is Desmond Tutu's daughter. We have Karen Ryan, who is the director of the women's program at the Carter Center. We have Al Cole, who was a CBS radio broadcaster for many, many years. We have Tom Blue Wolf, Native American, who talks about the interdependency of us all and saving the earth. And we have some incredible speakers. Those are our keynote speakers. We also have speakers. We'll probably have over 100 speakers who talk about their humanitarian work that they're doing in the world.
If you were the benevolent king of the world, queen of the world.
Thank you.
Monarch, just monarch is fine.
The people who need it to do it too, but who really are struggling just to get water in the house, or keep the water on. What about them? Because I know you'd like to have everybody involved, because ultimately it's got to be a movement of everybody, right. Not just the ones that can afford to give time or money, right, or food or clothing.
Right. It's not about giving money. It's about the Global Humanitarian Summit is the energy exchange is just doing good in the world. There's no charge to get into the summit. Everything's totally free for everybody. So we don't, we want everybody to participate and to be able to participate. So there's no admission fee. Everything's free. Anybody who wants to speak about their humanitarian work can do that. Any nonprofit organization doing humanitarian work in the world can exhibit. So it's all inclusive. We don't leave anybody out.
Tell me about your young granddaughter who's got something that I'd like to get my son involved in. With the youth part, is that part of?
Yes, we're also part of the Global Humanitarian Summit is a youth summit, which will be the Saturday of that weekend, and we have some incredible youth speakers, and we have two young people who are the co-chairs of the youth summit. Nitish and Aditya Sood, who started an organization called Working Together for Change, and they work tirelessly for the homeless. So they're two incredible young men, and we have a lot of young people involved.
And they're young, right? High school? Or?
Yeah, one's in high school and one, Aditya just started college.
Well,
and you mentioned my granddaughter. My granddaughter will be a junior Goodwill ambassador for the summit, and we will have several kids who are Goodwill ambassadors.
I'd love to invite my son, Joshua.
Yes, I'd love for him to come.
He really cares. I've taken him to homeless shelters, and he really is aware. And
yeah, I'd love
when
for
he
him
was
to
younger,
speak.
And he was startlingly aware of hundreds of people on the floor, women and children included. And I think it did him great to be there. And the kid, what a great age to start. In the spirit that Tiger Woods started swinging a golf club when he was 4.
Right.
And by the time he was 7, he was beating Jack Nicklaus, which was not true, but, but he ended up
for
being,
a good story.
Exactly.
Yeah, and think if we started encouraging and inspiring our kids at the age of 4 or younger to be humanitarians and to do good in the world, it'd be great.
Do you think that young ones are naturally good? Like, I don't believe there's a bad dog. I think they're really terrible dog owners. Really. I mean, I've heard of the pit bull because they're this. I don't believe, people that really know a lot more than I about animals, there are no bad dogs, no bad children, mostly, essentially.
Right, I agree with that.
But they're raised, so that's part of what this, to be empathetic and to be not so self-obsessed.
Right. To be selfless and to think of other people instead of just, being involved in what's going on with you. A lot of people, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care about it, and we're trying to change that mindset.
There's, if I may, on that note, there was a documentary, 8-hour documentary called Shoah, S-H-O-A-H, about the Holocaust. by a man named Noah Landsman. And there was one scene, I watched it for 8 hours, over 2 nights. There was a scene where he interviews, he interviews a woman who lived a mile from Auschwitz. And he said, did you have any idea what was going on? And she said, and I remember her face, and she said, we heard stories, but, you know, we have our life to live. I've got 4 children, and I have to. And he said, well, then you found out. And he said, how do you feel about it? And she said, you know, this encapsulated the whole 8 hours, said, if you hurt your finger, it really doesn't, I don't feel that. And she meant it. And it was that feeling that I had of such despair, because that's what you want to overcome.
Right.
The apathy and worse, just the ugliness of humans.
Yes.
No empathy at all.
Right. I mean, there's so much negativity, and you know, we hear about the bad things that people are doing, especially our youth. You hear about the bad kids, but there are so many good kids out there doing really worthwhile things, and we want to highlight those kids and those people.
I agree, and what we made a comment before is there are a lot of good athletes, and I think I've known my share. They don't get the press. The bad ones get the press, and I think they're a distinct minority who get, because it sells newspapers and television, sports shows. It's news.
Right.
Ted, how do you feel? Obviously, you're partnered with Debi in this, and I spoke to you earlier, and you're great. I hope you run for office. I hear you may run for office, or you are running for office.
Or some rumor to that effect, right?
To me, I must tell you, until my son was born, I was 63 years old, there was a certain bleakness that I would only share with myself about this world. It seems so fractured. There's so many people hungry and so uncaring, and just like a brutal, cold, dark place, and it gets worse. Like Woody Allen said, there's only 2 choices. To the left is a hole that continues fall, and it's totally ugly and cold and bitter. And to the right is utter chaos and pain and agony, and it's up to you to make the right choice. You feel better than that, obviously, or you wouldn't be involved in this.
Well, the way I feel about it is I think we actually do have an opportunity to help people understand that helping other people makes you feel good.
Good for you. I do.
And if we want to make other people feel good, you know, making other people feel good makes us feel good about us. So
Well,
it's a continuous add-on process.
I think, unless I'm mistaken, that the Warren Buffetts and Bill Gates, and certainly they're all outspoken, I know they feel this way, that until they had that great wealth, when they were making it, it was one thing, but now they know the joy they have is to be able to give,
Giving back to the
give
community.
it back, and hopefully in the right ways. Bill Gates' big thing is water relief, because he says it starts with water. If they don't have water, then all the politics don't make a whole lot of difference, and he's doing a lot more. Matter of fact, Al, the producer of the show, got me when we were raising money for a swimming pool, and I donated 2 bottles of Evian to fill the swimming pool. That's a joke. It's a joke.
Sounds like a good idea.
A little moment, a little attempt, as feeble as it is, can't hurt.
But going on about the Global Humanitarian Summit, I really feel as if it's a gathering of other humanitarians to recognize and celebrate the good works that other humanitarians are doing in order to show other people a path, leading by example. So we can show other people what they can do, how they can help their community, how they can help other people. And again, what Debbie said about networking, being able to network with other humanitarians around the world, we can, every person, 2 people have a lot more strength than just one person or 2 people standing alone. So if we get partnerships developed with other people doing something similar in other areas, I think we can create a movement even larger than the one that's already been created by this.
Did you go after groups, for instance, ministers, imams, rabbis, and religious leaders to get them to?
We have people that are doing that for
Yes,
us
we
right
do.
now.
That are going to be at that event?
Yes.
Because I'm definitely planning to come.
Yes.
The
I think I
creator-
have bowling that weekend. Oh, my.
The person who started this is a man named Dr. Neil Schulman, and Dr. Schulman's vision for this is to have every church or every community center around the globe doing their own humanitarian summit every year. So that's really the goal, is to grow this so that it gets down to the grassroots level so that everyone can do it. and really get other people inspired to do humanitarian things and to start thinking with a humanitarian viewpoint.
It's a tsunami of goodwill and good energy then.
So come to our website, which is globalhumanitariansummit.org. You can also get there at globalhumanitariansummit.com. There you can fill out any kind of form you want, either to attend for free, either to speak as a speaker, a guest speaker, or even a keynote speaker, and also to exhibit your humanitarian wares.
And it's all free.
Do it one more time, how they reach you, the website.
We are available through www.globalhumanitariansummit.org. Also, globalhumanitariansummit.com will get you there if you forget the .org part. But globalhumanitariansummit.org is the website, and on the website you can navigate through different sections to see what we're up to see who the speakers are, to see who's going to be exhibiting, to see who's going to be speaking, and also to join the network, the global network of, Humanitarians Unite.
Yeah.
And you have so much time to promote that what if you got 10,000, what if it really, like we're all going to this? Is there a limit of people you can have? There must be space.
No, everybody come on. Everybody come on.
Really?
Yeah.
I bet you're going to have that type of a crowd. Because
I hope so.
when the word gets out, I'm going to call Michael Jordan and LeBron James, and I'm going to call Usher.
What's really amazing is our meeting started out with about 6 people or less, and we've grown our weekly planning meeting, which occurs at 1:30 on Sunday afternoons at the Unity North Church. You're welcome to come and join.
Yeah, please
our
come.
planning
Bring
committee.
your friends and your
See what you can
enemies,
do.
whatever.
See what you can do to volunteer to help us out. But the number of people and the caliber of people and the diversity of the people and the diversity of talents is just absolutely incredible, and it's inspiring.
And it's every Sunday.
Every Sunday, 1:30 p.m., Unity North Church in Marietta.
Josh, remember that.
What is it, 4200?
Yeah, 4255 Sandy Plains Road in Marietta. It's not just, we don't just plan the summit. Part of it is planning the summit, and part of it is sharing what we do in the world. And it's just very inspiring and a lot of fun. We have really some incredible people that are helping us.
This Dr. Neil Schulman, by the way, and some people might not know, wrote the book Doc Hollywood, which was a good start in life.
Dr. Schulman is an associate professor at Emory University School of Medicine. And yes, he wrote the book that the movie Doc Hollywood is based on. He's an incredible humanitarian himself, and so the last 4 summits have been at Emory University. So this is the first year that it has been at a church.
Well, he's very impactful, and I've seen him do a lot of the fundraisers. And I think he was who was the doctor that worked with children that have really serious illness? There was a Dr.
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams.
Mm-hmm. He actually was at the summit a couple years ago.
Well, I'd like to bring a few comedian friends
Yes,
who
that
also,
would be great.
more importantly, do show up and do work at the shelters
great.
and the thing. It's really bothersome to see how many people in the downtown community of Atlanta. There's a big shelter there called the Task Force for the Homeless. It's one of the biggest on the East Coast, and we just get no support other than 2 black churches feed our 400 to 500 people a day meals in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Unheard of.
Well, they need to come to the Global Humanitarian Summit and get exposure. Build awareness of what they're doing. That's what it's all about.
I have an idea. I'd like to do some work with them to bring some of the homeless people there.
Great.
And let them speak.
That would be wonderful.
I think
that would be
really
wonderful. We'd love that.
At a totally grassroots,
We'd love that. We're included, and nobody's excluded from the Global Humanitarian Summit. So please, that would be great.
Republicans are welcome.
Yeah, Republicans, Democrats.
Don't get mad. I'm fine.
Even you're invited.
No.
Comedians,
You've got
whatever.
to have some limit.
Producers.
If you don't draw it, otherwise it becomes me.
Yeah, we got to keep the riffraff out, but I'll make an exception in your case.
Yeah, I'll get the Sons of Liberty writers there.
Great. You know what? We can do that. And I know some of Quantrill's Raiders are still around the city. I want to give a plug, if I may digress for a moment. Is Joshua, you want to come just say hello? I'd like to see your face and your hair. My son has a show on this network. Once a month, it's called Joshua Farber in the Guest Room. I just want them to see your face. It's a good face. And what Joshua does, you met Debbie earlier. Yeah. And Joshua is a rapper. He's always in the 10th grade at Parkview, and he's really doing well with his music. And he does go to the shelter, and he does look at people in the eye, and he does shake hands. And I'm really proud of him, and I hope it lasts, as do some of his friends the same. Because I think it starts, and he's been doing it since he's a kid. And you have anything you'd like to add?
Next show is Saturday. I'm going to have Iso Tariq and
Jim Gossett, who's going to be appearing at the Atlanta Comedy Theater in Atlanta on Jimmy Carter Boulevard, along with myself. And I'd love to see you there, and just a ticket price.
And Joshua, we'd love for you to come to the Youth Summit at the Global Humanitarian Summit and do some rapping.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, would you come?
Great.
Yeah, I'll come.
Okay, great.
Okay, you can sit down.
All right.
You're dismissed.
I just want to tell you,
All right, love you, Mom.
I do it every day, but no better time than Thanksgiving to say how blessed we are, and your godmother, Margaret, and your mom, and everybody, Josh, okay? Because you are the future, and I know some of this is getting into your DNA, right?
Yeah.
It's, the self-obsessed factor has never been more prevalent to me. Because you're self-obsessed. The phones have a lot to, I think, that just keeping the head buried down is really, I just cannot tell how many people I go to restaurants and shake them up, and how many times the police have taken me away from it. You know what I mean? It's an illness. It's a condition for sure.
Right.
The phones.
Not to go far afield from that, but I feel like Facebook on your mobile phone is something that has captured our youth. And they're always constantly on the phone. They're not paying attention to anything except their own life being lived vicariously through Facebook.
I'm sure you've been to restaurants and seen families doing it.
Yes.
Families.
Yeah, that's a
So
shame.
bringing that up for Thanksgiving dinner, I hope everyone leaves their phone in their car.
Yay.
And if they don't have a car, they can leave it in my car. It's a white Nissan, an old one. What else can we do to get the people? It's such a great event, and it's well-deserved. And I know there's a lot more publicity forthcoming for the event. It's so relevant and basic, and it seems like something, once they do it, like exercising, they're going to want to do it more.
Well, I know Debbie's really humble about this, but we do have a donation link on our website at globalhumanitariansummit.org. We would very gratefully accept any donations that you'd like to give us, monetarily speaking, because we do have to have print materials. We do have some print things to print, and we have, some expenses that we don't really have covered otherwise. So if you feel it in your heart that you'd like to participate, please donate generously.
I'm glad you brought that up, because
and by the way, this is through a 501c3, so it is a tax deductible donation. So please give your tax deductible donation to globalhumanitariansummit.org.
That's for real.
Thank you,
I've
Jeff.
started because there's so many now. It's approaching 78, and there are a lot of homeless older people. So I started. It's called Coalition to Assist Senior Housing. And if you write a check to me, it's to CASH, C-A-S-H, Coalition to Assist Senior Housing. And I promise you, it goes towards my condominium in Hilton Head, because I need some roofing. Bad joke. But I appreciate you doing that, because obviously people need funds to do what they do. And I'll do my part to do it.
Thank you.
And Joshua has a little trust fund, and we'll certainly put all of that into it.
Oh, thank you for being so generous, Joshua.
Well, and I also don't want to dismiss the other event that I hope to come to in April too, the Southern Fried Laughter, because it was really fun, more fun than any comedy club has been for me personally, to see women and every manifestation of a body in the men and having fun. Not paying a lot of money for it. There was a fee for that too, right? There's got to be a fee.
Yeah, there was. But it's very low.
For that.
Yeah, so southernfriedlaughter.com.
And
if
you
you're
do
interested in that.
Pardon me for interrupting, but don't you have a yoga project you do?
I do laughter yoga, which is all about just helping people laugh and be joyful.
Is that when you saw me try to do yoga one time with my... I'm starting Al, I think I told you, Al Burrows, by the way, I'd like to give a nod, who's the director, producer, writer, music director, everything, Al Burrows, who actually played football in the NFL.
Wow.
And was a linebacker. In that game, he played for Minnesota, and he held, as a linebacker, Jimmy Brown, the great running back, to 7 touchdowns in that great Minnesota field game. Jimmy Brown
Only
went ahead to
7.
become an icon. Al became a producer. So, pardon me for those interruptions. If I'm on an elevator with 2 people, I do an hour. You know, I push the hold button. They've got to listen. You've been much more gentle. This has really been a delight for me to do this, to be around such energized humans. I wish it were that way every moment, but because of you, it very well may become the thing. Like, people do work out. I see them down where L.A. something, all these fitness centers, and this is more relevant.
Well, and the thing about the relevance of just being a humanitarian in general, if we had more humanitarians in the world, there'd be a lot less, grief, sorrow, sadness, suffering, especially the suffering.
And the suffering. And less loneliness.
That too.
A feeling that there really is a community that cares, even if it's 2 people. I love the expression. You may have told it to me before, or shown it on something I picked up at your event, where it said, to the world, you may be one person, but to one person, you're the world. Do you understand? I got it wrong, but the idea is...
I think that's right. That's right.
To the world, you're one, but to one person, meaning these homeless people, when you just look at them in the eye, with trying to not have any judgment at all.
Right.
They
Just smile
sense
at
that.
them. Smile at them. Recognize them.
The acceptance of just somebody saying, how are you, and to something.
Yeah, that's important.
Well, this has been great for me. And I encourage people also equally to support the comedy clubs, because it is, of all the noise we make, I think laughter is among the higher. Next to seeing babies smile and gargle.
Or hear them poot at inappropriate moments.
Exactly. That's.
I have a granddaughter. I know all these tricks now.
Well, one of the... to that point, too, when Joshua was born, I didn't have children until I was 63. And I would change Joshua. I would do it gladly, but... when he would look at me, and I had this feeling that so many children, babies, love their mother, they do it the most often. So I see a lot of young fathers, and they're doing it too. But I felt because they know this face is making him feel better at that moment. It wasn't always the most pleasant thing, but it was better than watching some of the networks, and did it gladly. I was grateful to have a kid, and would have had others, I might have, but I don't want to get into that whole concept.
Well, speaking of the kids, I just want to really encourage any young person out there to come to the Youth Summit of the Global Humanitarian Summit, which will be Saturday of that weekend, the 19th, and because you are the seeds of the future, and we want to encourage you to do good in the world and to know that that's important. So
for its own sake.
Please come.
For its own sake.
Right. And if you want to speak, let us know. If you want to just come and listen, that would be great. We'll be having entertainment at the summit. We'll be having panels. We'll be having all kinds of activities going on.
My mother used to say about donors that the word anonymous, when I was a kid, I was learning how to spell. I said, who is anonymous? Was he a member of the congregation? My mother said, no, it's the most generous human, the anonymous. There was a way of fundraising at the congregation my parents belonged to in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they published a magazine, if you can believe it, Who Gave What. And my father once was involved as the chairman of it. He said, Jerry, I know I was already in high school, and my father said, it's very tacky. I'm going to allow you that. You might think it is. But we raise more money, because some people really, if they can, will give a little more than they. But there was always the anonymous that were way up there giving. Well, listen, I hope it was as good for me, for you as it was for me.
Oh, it was.
I hope it was as good for you as it was for me.
It was plenty good. This was a good old-fashioned, good time, good feeling.
Thank you for letting us come on and
And I hope you go into politics. I've heard rumors, and if you do, you've got my vote. I spoke to you just enough to know you're bright, you're energetic, and you're right. You're smart, intelligent, and you care.
Well, thank you,
That
Jerry.
should say it all. That eliminates 90% of the other myths.
I would just say Ted Metz for U.S. Senate.
Oh, I'll think about that. Thank you,
Okay,
Jerry.
you're welcome.
Thanks for planting that seed.
You'd be
I
a
know
great
this.
candidate.
Speaking for Dennis Aloia, this is his show, is you'd always be a welcome guest here, and,
Well,
and
thank you.
others too. Hopefully all the others, because they need to hear you. We don't hear your voice much.
Well, just remember to go to globalhumanitariansummit.org, check us out, register to speak, exhibit, or just to attend. And if you can spare a tax-deductible donation, we'd love to see that too. It's a lot easier to spread love than hate.
Right. And if you want to help with the planning of the summit, or if you just want to come and network and tell people what you're doing in the world, we meet every Sunday at 1:30 at Unity North Atlanta Church. So,
You know what? I know friends here. Margaret is in the studio, but people who are caretaking for people, nurses as well, but just people that aren't nurses but are doing the mighty work of taking care of someone who has real illness. They're beautiful too. That's a real high spirit.
absolutely.
Because they're but for the grace of God. Well, listen. Thank you very much for showing up, driving in the traffic, and I hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You
and
too.
for decades to follow.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you very
Jerry.
much. I'm Jerry Farber. Thank you all for paying attention.